Well, they are, of course, beautiful birds, chosen for our national symbol. And this is why we have the mat. They're not really bald, of course, right? The word bald, if you put an E on the end, B-A-L-D-E, it's an Old English word that means white. So when they were named bald eagle, they were named white-headed eagle. That's how they get their name. But do they always have a white head? Do all bald eagles have a white head? Now, what are the ones that don't?
Yeah.
The young ones. When they first hatch and first get their feathers, those feathers grow in brown. Their beak is also brown and their eyes are brown. The only thing that's yellow at first is their feet. But as they age, when they're around between 4 and 6 years old, around 5 years old, they'll get this look that you see and that we can all recognize as the bald eagle with the white head and the white tail. If you saw the exhibits out there, there's a nice first-year young bald eagle in the exhibit, so you can see how different this one is to that one. But Hal has been at Bird TLC for 24 years. Bird TLC has been around for 25 years. So he is our original educational ambassador. He came in 1989. Does anyone else remember what else happened in Alaska in 1989?
The Exxon.
Not the earthquake.
The Exxon Valdez.
The Exxon Valdez oil spill disaster, exactly. Hal was found on Kodiak Island, which wasn't directly in the spill area, but we think he was only about 4 months old at the time, so he was flying on his own, but his parents were still giving him a lot of food and helping him out as he was learning to hunt. And we think his parents were probably flying into the spill area, getting some oiled fish and bringing it back to him, because he did have a little bit of oil on his belly and on his wingtips and tail. He hadn't ingested too much of it though, and so he was fairly healthy, except he had a fracture in his shoulder. We don't know what caused it, what happened to him. We lost a lot of bald eagles during the Exxon Valdez oil spill. A lot of bald eagles died because of that. He's going to shake his feathers out. He's getting comfortable, saying, okay, I don't want my feathers, it's like us straightening our hair. He saw all the cameras, he's like, well, I better shake off. So yeah, we lost a lot of bald eagles during the Exxon Valdez. Hal was probably one of the only ones that was saved because of it. He was on a remote part of Kodiak Island. Probably wouldn't have been found sitting there on that beach with the fractured shoulder. But there was an oil spill cleanup worker walking that beach and looking for oiled wildlife, and they ended up found him, realized he couldn't fly away, and they picked him up and brought him to Bird TLC, and he's been with us ever since. So I have a lot of random bald eagle facts in my head, but I want to know what you want to know. So do you guys have questions about him or about Bird TLC or bald eagles in general?
How much does he weigh?
How much does he weigh? That's an excellent question. How much do you think he weighs?
40 pounds.
40 pounds? How much? 5 pounds?
I would have to say maybe 10, 12.
10, 12? 90? 20 pounds. You are exactly right, 10, 12. He's actually, I weighed him this morning, he's 11 pounds. So light as a feather, right? Light as a whole bunch of feathers. Light as 7,182 feathers, to be precise. But if you saw a mammal this same size, it would weigh around 30, 40 pounds, right? Think about a dog or a cat that looks this size. It would weigh a lot more, but if he weighed 30, 40 pounds, he wouldn't be able to get off the ground, wouldn't be able to fly.
That's true.
So really lightweight. We've all heard the light as a feather. What's really cool about birds, though, is if you took all of his feathers and put them on a scale, he has 7,182 feathers, put them all on a scale and weighed it against his skeleton, the feathers would weigh more than his skeleton. Actually about twice as much as his skeleton. Why is that? Why is his skeleton so light? Hollow bones. Yeah, birds have those hollow bones. They're not completely hollow like a straw. There are little support structures in them to make them nice and strong, but it's a great adaptation to be able to fly.
Why is his beak open?
His beak is open because it's a little warm in here and he can't sweat, so he pants a little bit. Yeah. We don't, he's not imprinted. He was with his parents during those critical, birds will imprint on their parents, or unfortunately sometimes on humans. If humans get them during that time, they'll imprint during the first few weeks of life usually. Once they open their eyes, they can start seeing who's feeding them and taking care of them. They kind of go through this process and they say, oh, okay, well, you're my mom and dad, and you're bald eagles, so I must be a bald eagle. And then that gets imprinted in their head, kind of like pressing an imprint in wet cement. And then you can't change it later. So he came to Bird TLC. He was found injured when he was about 4 months old. So he knows he's a bald eagle. He's used to us. And he sees me walk by and he's like, food lady, I know, I know you. But he doesn't, if I left, as long as there's another food person that comes in and takes my place, he wouldn't miss me at all. I would miss him, but it's all on my end. They don't, they don't really form a bond like that. They're still wild birds.
Are you able to pat him?
I'm not. I can't. I have been working on. The question was, am I able to pet him? And he doesn't like it. It's also not good for his feathers.
Okay.
For the oil, the waterproofing they have on their feathers, our oils on our hands will strip that away. I am working on just husbandry behavior is checking their keel bone, which is their breastbone that all the flight muscles are attached to. And it's one way, I weigh him every time I get him out and get him on glove, I'll weigh him on the scale. He can step on a little perch on the scale to get a weight. But it's always a good idea to just periodically check that keel bone so you can see if they're, the trends. Is he slowly losing weight or is he slowly gaining weight? You can tell that by checking the keel. If I tried to do it now, he would probably bite me, which is his way of saying, no, too close. So we're working on it slowly because I don't like getting bit. Yeah.
What's the wingspan?
Wingspan is about 6 or 7 feet. 6 to 7 feet with a bald eagle. So you'll see them out soaring around. This is why they're chosen as our bald eagle, because they're beautiful watching them soar around in the sky. The huge wingspan. Most of the time, they're spent sitting. So when you're out wandering around, don't just look at the sky. Look at the trees as well. Go to the dump. You may see some there. They're pretty good scavengers. Which is really one of the reasons, there was somebody that did not want the bald eagle as our national symbol. Benjamin Franklin. Yep.